because I said so. My name is Werner Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. So this morning we woke up and the little man was all chipper, ready to get his day started. In fact, my wife and my son just disappeared out of the door to go spend some time in the countryside. Gives me time to catch up on things and just get realigned for the next week. And yes, sometimes fathers also need a little bit of a break. But getting back to the wake-up story. So he woke up and he turned to me and said, "Can he play the mouse game?" Well, for you, it might sound strange, but for me, it's kind of a regular occurrence. He wants to grab my iPad and then start playing a little game on there that he really loves. I turned to him and also looked at my wife over his shoulder and said no, because it's way too early to start playing games now. But, of course, he wanted to know why I said no. Why, Tata? And I said to him, foolishly, because I said so.
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm from Austria and I know Werner from the College of Extraordinary Experiences back in 2016. What I have learned during the special and challenging Corona times is that I'm really grateful for the circumstances I'm living in and for the country I'm living in. What I mean with that is that I have realized again that I'm living in a really privileged situation. For me, it was possible to just go outside, be in nature, and I'm also not living isolated by my own. I'm living in a shared apartment, which means that also during social distancing times, I was not totally alone. I could spend time with my roommates. And also I had all the access I needed to keep myself healthy and safe. And I mean, in many other parts of the world, the hygiene standards or necessary standards for social distancing couldn't even be kept or realized just because of the circumstances, how they are. So this just made me being grateful for the place where I'm living. And what I have also learned is that I thought being self-employed is quite difficult right now, but I got to look at it from a different perspective. When Corona happened, we were in the middle of a 5 weeks event, and only after 2 weeks we had to cancel everything, and also all the upcoming projects were event-based projects. So basically everything was cancelled, and all my work from the last month is gone, which made me quite sad. But then I've also realized that also when it comes to this, I'm privileged again, because all I need to work is basically my computer. So I can work from everywhere. I can work from everywhere. And also what I did was that I started thinking in different directions and started to come up with new ideas and new projects. And in many other industries or working conditions, it was not that easy to adapt to the given circumstances. What I have also learned is that there is a big difference between rational and emotional acceptance of events or circumstances. That was a big realization to me. And also I have questioned a lot of ethical and societal decisions during the last weeks and months. For example, who decides over the value of a life and how? I guess I can only imagine that for doctors it must be a really difficult time. They need to decide who gets treatment and who doesn't. And as we know by now, especially elderly people are threatened by the virus. But if they knew about all the consequences of a treatment with a ventilator, would they really choose it and risk to get out of hospital with even more damages than before? And I mean, this is not a statement that I'm making here. It's just a question that I'm raising. So I think that comprehensive explanation and clarification of information and details is really necessary. And I'm questioning if this is really happening or to which extent this has been happening. And another ethical or societal question that has been really present to me was, or is, the power of borders. As I said in the beginning, I grew up in a really privileged situation, and I'm a white girl from Austria. So with my passport, I can basically travel almost anywhere, which hasn't been true for the last couple of months, of course. As I'm living in the most western part of Austria, countries like the Principality of Liechtenstein or Switzerland or Germany are just a few kilometers away. And I also have friends there, but it was not possible to cross the border. And this was an event that was new to me, and it just showed me again clearly how privileged I am, because there are many people living in different countries all over the world who don't have this privilege to just cross borders. So yeah, these were the thoughts that popped up in my mind when you, Werner, wrote me your question. And I feel honored to be part of your project, and I'm really curious to see or hear your end result of the project, and also to listen maybe to my own voice recording in a year or so, and to see if I think differently about it or what else I have learned. And I'm wishing you all the best. Stay healthy and hope to see you soon.
Thanks for sharing, Julia, and you really made me think. She made me think about ethical and societal decisions. I can understand what you said about doctors, but I think those decisions go even wider. It goes down to our politicians, our police force, our clergy, and all of us as individuals. Now, to be honest, with my little son, it's hard to explain to him sometimes why we make certain decisions. He's not old enough to understand yet, but that's not true for everybody else. I don't know about you, but one of the biggest things that I get frustrated with is when society makes a decision for me. I can kind of accept that only if society gives me a reason for that decision. I've seen so many things escalate because people say, I said so. And for me, there's a clear attempt to relieve themselves from the responsibility to motivate their decision. Answering the why forces you to slow down and think about your actions. Now, I think in our society at the moment, when we stop and we start considering the why and answering the why honestly, it starts to make us feel uncomfortable and uncertain. Because sometimes the reason for what we are doing is not really ethical. And sometimes, even more dangerously, we're unable to give a clear answer because sometimes we don't know ourselves. And when that happens, you are treading on seriously dangerous ground. Perhaps we can start by answering why we're doing certain things or believe certain things. Really take into account the ethical reasons behind our decisions and then the actions that follow afterwards, specifically when it affects someone else or the environment. Thanks for listening.